the story of renewable energy, we assume that solar panels, wind turbines and the like are relatively recent technologies. But the truth of the matter is, renewable energy has been around for quite some time. 1838 brought us the hydrogen fuel cell. A Welsh scientist, William Robert Grove, developed a way to generate electricity by breaking down steam into hydrogen and oxygen. His invention became known as the gas cell. The principles of solar power were first established as early as 1876. A British professor, William Grill Adams, and one of his students developed a metal panel made of selenium that generated a small current when exposed to sunlight. It demonstrated you could make electricity without any moving parts. 1888 brought us the first wind turbine. An American engineer, Charles F. Brush, developed a system that used a large single blade to turn a dynamo. And as a result, his house in Cleveland became the first to be powered by electricity. The first commercial hydroelectric power plant started operation in California in 1893, the first of its kind to deliver a reliable flow of electricity from running water. In 1922, we first tapped into heat from the Earth's core. An American, John D. Grant, drilled a geothermal well in a park near San Francisco, so powering a generator using steam rising from geysers. Fast forward to the 21st century, and the first attempts to harness ocean waves with the Limpet 500 system off the island of Islay, and later the Pelamis system in Orkney. Despite the International Energy Agency estimating that wave power could power the entire world, both these systems have since been taken offline. But Scotland remains a pioneer in renewables, and that's where they're currently trying out something entirely different. In the shadow of Edinburgh Castle, a tourist attraction celebrating one of Scotland's most prized exports, most of us know it as whisky. To the Scots, however, they give it a more reverential title, Usquebaugh, the water of life. Here in Scotland, whisky, or at least the distilling process, is now being put to another use, strangely enough, by an Irishman. He's intent on using the waste from Scottish distilleries to make fuel for our cars, indeed anything with an engine.
I have redeveloped a traditional process to make biobutanol as an advanced biofuel and a direct replacement for petrol, but using the residues of the whisky industry as my raw material.
Dr. Martin Tangney is a microbiologist based at Edinburgh's Napier University. Since 2011, he's been focused on reviving a century-old technology, ABE fermentation.
It was originally developed in the UK in the early 1900s, primarily to make acetone for explosives during the First World War.
Tangney and his team have rejuvenated the process with the help of the whisky industry. We visited a small new distillery called Kingsbarn, just up the coast from Edinburgh. But what interests Tangney is out in the yard, the byproducts. First up, barley residue, or draff. So here we have it, your raw material.
Yes, this is what's left over from the barley that was used in the original starting point for making whisky. There's a huge volume of this produced annually in Scotland. There's 750,000 tonnes of this stuff produced.
And just a few yards away is the other ingredient Tangney needs, pot ale.
Every year there's 2 billion litres of this liquid produced by the Scottish malt whisky industry alone.
Tangney and his team made their first sample of biobutanol a year ago. The special ingredient, a particular strain of bacteria incubated in an oxygen-free chamber.
We mix the pot ale with the draff and create a brand new raw material, which we apply with our fermentation using completely different organisms, and they convert that soup into this, which is the end product, biobutanol, which can be used as an advanced biofuel.
And what's that like?
It's quite different to alcohol, I think you'll find.
It's quite strong. We've all heard of ethanol, the pin-up of the biofuel world, but Tangney is adamant that biobutanol is the fuel of the future.
Ethanol is an alcohol that we all know, but it's a 2-carbon alcohol. Butanol is a 4-carbon alcohol. So inherently, because it has more carbon, it has more energy. But it's compatible, so you don't need to modify the engine to drive on butanol as a fuel. It's a here and now, like for like substitution, and that's the difference.
With the help of a $15 million grant from the British government, Tangney is looking to produce his biofuel on an industrial scale, here at a pilot plant in Ghent in Belgium.
We will have the blueprint as a modern exemplar of an old technology to roll out the process at full scale, not just only in Scotland, but in all the other whisky producing countries around the world. I'm not here to solve the oil usage of the entire planet, but if I can make a small dent into the amount of oil that's consumed here in Scotland and in the other countries where we roll it out, then I would die a happy man. That's a job well done.